Hey guys, can anybody hear me?
Yes, can you hear us now?
We can both hear you.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome December 16th Moorhead Human Rights Commission meeting. And this is going to be our last meeting for 2020. The time is 5 p.m. now. Josh, do you want to provide a roll call first, please?
Yes. Connie Otten,
Yes.
Deb White,
Yes.
Shinwar Mai, Mikkel Pauline Normandin,
Yes.
Eileen Cohen Pearson, and Heather Keeler.
Here.
And Shinwar is there.
Yep.
Shinwar's having trouble hearing us, but he's here. Yeah.
I'll just quickly point out for those of you attending the meeting, if you have questions, feel free to raise your hand. I'll watch for that and let Connie know if anyone has their hand raised. For those watching this streaming, if you would like to call in and have any comment or questions for the commission, you can call 218-299-5001. That phone number again is 218-299-5001.
Thank you, Josh. We'll move. Our next agenda is approval agenda minutes of November 18, 2020.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve. Deb White.
I second, Heather.
The White approved. Had a second. Any further discussions? Hearing none. Josh, you want to make a call, please?
Connie Otten,
Yes.
Deb White,
Yes. Yes.
Shinwar Mai,
Here.
Mikkel Pauline
Can
Normandin.
you guys hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Okay, thank
Yes.
And Heather Keeler.
Yes.
Moving our next agenda, citizen to be heard. We have Scott on the line.
I'm here for the
Oh, yeah.
awards talk.
Yeah, he's here for number 6.
For number 6, I have him number, yes, my bad. Our next item is number 5, and it's a law enforcement update. I think we have Sergeant Martin here.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Commissioner. Just have to turn my volume down here, I think. So I got a couple updates, and actually Sergeant Castoris or Scott shows up on the screen, may be able to update on a couple of these items as well, as he has a little bit more information than I do. December, of course, is the time of year that our department does the Giving Tree. This is a program that we work in conjunction with Churches United to identify some of their children that are staying there that may need additional couple of presents, and we work with our officers, have them take some of the names, and they go out and they pick up presents. And then today was actually the day, I believe, that the presents were getting delivered to the families over at Churches United. Scott is very involved with both of these programs. The other one that we have is Shop with a Cop that we do every year. This year, we had to modify what we were doing. We weren't actually able to go out with the children and shop at Target with them. We were able to gather wish lists from them and talk to their families and get some additional lists. And then the officers went out to Target and did the shopping on their own. And then those presents
Oops, sorry.
so those presents will be delivered later on before Christmas. A couple other things that we have going on, and I won't take much more of your time, but I am working with the Community Uplift Program to bring in a transgender cultural competency training for some of our officers. I know Fargo currently has their, I believe it's their school resource officers and a few other officers go through the training. So we're working on bringing that in early January to the department. And then just today I had an outreach call from a community member that wants to look at putting together a program in regards to domestic violence. So I started working with rape and abuse, and we're going to develop a program for their community and work together and get that developed and hopefully be able to share that on one of the platforms that we have along with their platform as well. That's all I have to share tonight in a nutshell, unless anybody has questions.
Any comment, questions for Chris?
Deb's got her hand up.
Deb, you go ahead.
Thank you, and that's just great information. I was wondering, is there any way, is it too late, or is there any way that if someone wants to support the Giving Tree, that they can still do that?
Well, we appreciate the comment. Our officers actually support it. It's all on them if they want to participate. We have a Christmas tree set up, and we have the children's names, and it's just a first name and their age, and then a couple suggestions what their family thought that they might like for Christmas, and then the officer takes on the project themselves and brings in the wrap presents and just has the child's names on the package, and we take them over and get them delivered to Churches United after they've been all collected. So, but I really appreciate that, the offer.
Well, if next year, if we can pair up with some of you, I know, I'm guessing some other council members would be really happy to help you with that too. So it's just fantastic.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Any other comment, questions for Chris, please? Yeah, you go ahead, Heather.
You talked a little bit about the transgender training. Who is that put on by? Is that a local community member, or is it like a part of a bigger organization that does these trainings? And is it focused like just for law enforcement engagement with the population, or is it more just like a better understanding of the population in general?
Yeah, good question. So they can do all of the above, and it's put on by the Community Uplift Program out of Fargo. We're going to work with them. This would be the first year that we've actually teamed up with them. I can't answer all of the specifics of your questions, but I know specifically we're going to be working on the cultural competency training and focusing initially on our school resource officers.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Any other comment, questions? Thank you so much, Chris. To correct myself, agenda number 4 was citizen to be heard. I believe we don't have any citizen to be heard. Thank you again. Our next item is going to be guest speaker. We have Scott here.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, I even got my picture working so you can all see me. Hi. Yeah, so Chris kind of stole my thunder, kind of gave away all of our fun stuff we're doing this week. But when Josh gave me the invite for the meeting, I just wanted to come on and thank you guys, for not only considering us, but for giving us the nonprofit award. It means a lot for our department for our PAL program to get the recognition. So just to clarify just a few things. So the PAL program, the Police Athletics and Activities League, we're a chapter of a national organization. It's a nonprofit. It's a standalone nonprofit from the police department. And our board of directors includes people from the community, not police officers. There's 2 board members that Chief Monroe is our president right now. And then I serve as executive director. Other than that, it's not police ran. So it's just different people in the community that help us identify needs, help us kind of coordinate with those that might be in need. A lot of questions we get with the Shop with the Cop is how do you pick the kids? And we work with the schools, the school counselors, social services, and probation to identify those families. And clearly there's much more need out there. We had 8, for the Shop with the Cop program specifically, we had 8 kids 2 years ago, 16 kids last year, we had 62 yesterday. And then for the Churches United tonight, in about an hour and a half, Santa will be bringing 14 gifts to the kids that are at churches. So just some of the things that we do. We do a hockey game every year. This year will be our 14th year of doing just a charity hockey game. It started as a fundraiser for our Explorer post that we do through the police department and now through PAL. So just lots of programs. Essentially, the PAL program exists so police officers have a way to reach out to kids in the community in a positive way, and they have the support financially and they have the support logistically from the police department, but also from the financial side of it. So all of our fundraising is done privately We get no government funds to put these programs on. And like Chris said, a lot of the programs are actually funded and supported by the officers themselves. So I just want to thank you guys again, and just come in person to your meeting, and thank you for the support, and we look forward to doing more good things.
Any question, comment for Scott?
Commissioner, I have one question for him, if you
Yes.
don't mind. I forgot to raise my hand. I just jumped in here. Scott, putting you on the spot, could you briefly talk about the project that you organized in regards to the books and reading with the second or third graders that we started, or that you started last year?
Well, because this is a group effort, we purchased books through a fund from American Crystal. It'd be 2 years ago now. We bought 560 copies of the book Officer Buckle and Gloria. It's just a fun little book of an officer and his canine dog that kind of spices up his presentations and entertains the kids. It's just a good book. My kids had it. We got it from the Dolly Parton Library when they were little, and so we bought it and we went into the schools and we read it to all the second graders and gave them a copy. So for those kids that don't have books at home, the kids that needed something to do, something instructive to do, they had that book. And an additional bonus is that it was a positive message, positive law enforcement message, and just kind of help build that relationship is what we're trying to do. So we just secured funding to purchase another 500 books. Actually, we got 600. 600 books that will be, once school's back in session, we'll either be giving them to the kids and then pre-recording some of our school resource officers reading the book so the teachers can play it when they have time, and then give the books to the kids again. So something we're going to try to do every year, and again, just have that positive outreach. Good question, Chris.
Any other questions? Deb White, you go ahead.
Just a comment. Also, thank you for your work and for your dedication. And if, for those of you who don't recall, Scott is someone who goes above and beyond for the community. And in fact, was it 2 years ago, ran the Fargo Marathon in uniform, right? To raise money for a good cause, which I believe it was for officers who were killed in line of duty, right?
Yeah, and I didn't win, so sorry to let you down, Deb.
I was behind you. So.
Yeah.
Any other comments, questions? Yeah, you go ahead, Ada.
We won't talk about my time in the Fargo 5K, so I give it to you that you do the marathon piece. But I did have one question. You mentioned the hockey game, but in the pictures that we saw, it looked like you were partnering with MSUM and the basketball team. Maybe can you talk a little bit about the partnerships that you have with the other athletic departments in our community?
Yep, yeah. I was trying to be respectful of your time. I could talk for hours on this, and I know you don't want that, but another program that we do, we call it the PAL All-Stars, and we work with between Concordia, MSUM, and the Fargo Force and the Red Hawks. Usually 3 times a year, we try to identify kids in the schools that are nominated by their teachers that are excelling, showing progress, showing a change in behavior, positive role models. And then we take them out to these different events. For the Fargo Forest game, the last couple years in a row, we've gotten a suite donated by Goldmark. So we take the kids and they get to hang out in the suite and have some food and watch the game. For the Red Hawks, they gave us tickets right behind home plate. MSUM, Chad Walthall, the head coach of the men's team, is on our board, and he hooked us up right, courtside seats for all the kids, and we got some food. And then at the end of the game, without even planning on it, he sent all his kids over, and they had little mini basketballs, and they got to sign. That's probably the picture you saw. And they got to sign the basketballs. Just fun stuff like that. We work with Terry Horan, coach of the Concordia football team, is on our board as well. So we've done some things at Concordia football games. We have a lot of support from Brandon Lunick, who's also on our board, superintendent of Moorhead Public Schools. So we get a lot of really buy-in from the community in that way, and that helps us not only arrange these programs, but again, reach the kids that benefit from a program like this.
Very cool. I love that. The one piece of, I guess, advice I would give or suggestion I would give is that as you were naming off the programs that you reach out to find names and individuals. If you maybe want to think about adding Indian education onto the program or onto your program list, they were here last month and shared a lot of information. And I know firsthand that they just have a really unique relationship with families and youth in our community. I just don't want some of those kids maybe to be missed. I know that I worked in that program for a long time, and often social workers and teachers maybe miss some of that population, but you may be doing very well. I just wanted to throw it out there that maybe if there's at least an email thread or a chain of outreach that maybe connecting with Indian education would be just another organization or group to add. Thank you for your work.
Any contact information you have, you can forward to Chris, you can get it to me, and yeah, I know that we're only reaching a very small fraction of the population that we could be, which is what we're trying to grow every year. Like I said, our programs are growing. We're over 1,000 kids that we've had positive contact with in just 3 years of being around. So any information you can provide, we'll take.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I think, Josh, you have Dolores's information from the last meeting. Yep. If you want to send that over. Thank you.
Any other comment? Hearing none, thank you so much, Scott, for coming out and sharing all these amazing programs. Thank you. We're moving next item number 7, community listening session planning.
I can start because I think I was the one that brought it up a long time ago, and then it was on our agenda last time and we kind of waited. So I guess I just wanted to follow up because Connie and we had done those talking circles and community sessions. I don't even remember what month it was. But I think that as we create a plan every year, we should just implement those sporadically throughout the community and partner with some of our organizations like yours, like Birthing of a Diamond, Indian Education, I mean, all these other programs. And so I guess I just wanted to kind of throw it out there on what are the planning opportunities so that it can start to be part of the inner workings of what this commission does. I feel like often we're stuck thinking like, what do we do? What is our role and what is our purpose in this community? And I think if we could maybe all agree to, 2 or 3 throughout the year, and have it be more out in the community, because I think we really miss the community voice when we expect the community to come to us. I think it's really important that we go out to the community to gain that information, and it shouldn't always be after some sort of a tragedy. I mean, we should have this conversation very regularly throughout our community and provide supports. And so I just want to throw it out there to see how everybody feels about that. And I guess just wanted to really make sure before I left that it was one thing that we really tried to implement in 2021 and going on after that.
Thank you, Heather. Anyone else? You go ahead, Deb.
I was wondering, Connie, if you had mentioned this at the Resilience Committee meeting, would this be something that we could plan around Martin Luther King Day? And so I think, I like that suggestion of planning it around that. And then it, as Commissioner Keeler said, not having it, don't wait until something bad happens in the community, that this is a regular event every year. And perhaps that might be the anchor that we could tie it with, is that it is in some ways a way of making sure that we are continuing this and we're making that space of bringing people together and having those conversations. And so I don't know if that's what you were, if you were going to suggest that, but I would support that. And I know that it sounded like the Resilience Task Force, at least the governance and equity and governance work group, would be interested in helping with that. But I also agree that I think it would be good to instead of just having ones where, they're coming to sort of City Hall, even if it's virtual City Hall, that we could do intentional ones, like this is one with, AADA, and this is one with, pick different groups, and that we go to their meetings, even if it's virtually, and have that opportunity for a community conversation.
Thank you, Deb. Moorhead Resilience are very happy to organize or to host community conversation. After I had a meeting with community leaders, we think it's a good idea to have mark the Martin Luther King Day, just do a unique day, different day for the other days, and to see the youth, how diversity looks like. I created a community conversation. This was just my idea. But we invite all Fargo Moorhead residents to attend the community conversation that we host on January 18th. Matua Aller from Moorhead Public Schools and the chair of Fargo Human Relations Commission will share updates related of diversity and inclusion and equity in the community, and of course welcoming to all to help develop goals for the youth in the community. So this is going to be Martin Luther King Day, and it's going to be Monday, January 18. It's 5 to 6:30 p.m. For all participants, please provide your name, your email to receive a Zoom link a few days before. So yeah, there is no organization that we partner with, but we are open. We are welcome and happy to partner anyone who is interested to be part of this. It's an open open discussion. Everyone is welcome to comment how we plan, how we do. You go ahead, Deb.
I wanted to hear what other people thought. That seems so. This would be. I think I was confusing a little bit. This would not be. It would be more of a community collaborative effort too, which actually I kind of like that. You know, so it's not just the HRC doing it, but it's being held around Martin Luther King Day, and so maybe that would be one way to create another space for this. And I mean, I think that's a great idea. And then we could look at if we wanted to do other ones where we are going into specific groups. So I wouldn't say that I wouldn't preclude, I think I wouldn't preclude, I think all those options sound good.
Thank you, Deb. Any other comments? Mikhail, you go ahead.
So is there some way that the Human Rights Commission can help advertise or get the information? I mean, because you said send an email for a Zoom link, but where? I don't, how do you get on that list? Or is there something that we can send out saying, this is coming up if you want to be included, just to get the word out there more? Is that a way that we could help with this particular event?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a Facebook event. It's on Facebook. Most of us share the Facebook page where we created the event. But yes, we can advertise on Facebook or both on the city website. And also, I think it's a good idea for us as Moorhead Human Rights Commission and Fargo Commission Relations to partner to host community conversation, including Moorhead Resilience and everyone else who is interested to be part of this, to host this community conversation, and in a bigger way, Fargo and Moorhead community can be attended, and everyone will feel free and comfortable to share their stories. Any other comments? Hearing none, we are going to move our next item, which is going to be Human Rights Commission disclosure draft.
I have something.
Go ahead, Heather.
I really like it. It feels much better than it did. So thank you for the work on it. I would just add one suggestion, take it or leave it. The third from the bottom line, when we talk about the commission is happy to assist with public education about human rights, fairness, and equality. I don't know if we want to kind of look at those three words a little bit more, maybe add inclusivity or equity, because I think that those things really resonate with people in the bigger work that we're trying to do. Not that we have to take any of those words out. Those would just be some suggestions to add in there, but I do like where this went. It feels much softer than the first kind of round, and it also provides what we can do in this capacity. So thank you, Mikkel, and I think Deb, was it you two that worked on this? Thank you.
Any other comments?
I have my hand up, but I think I do anyway. I just have one more actually. So today I looked at this again. And so none of you guys have this. I sent it to Deb and then I left the office because that's how I roll. I thought like the first paragraph was a little chunky and hard to, I don't know, it was just hard to, like if you were reading it out loud, I felt like it didn't flow very well. So I have yet another revision that we can maybe send out or send to Josh to look at or send out to everybody. It just mainly, the only thing, it just changed the first paragraph. But Heather, so you thought maybe adding what into the last paragraph?
So in that sentence where it says, the commission is happy to assist with public education about human rights, I think keep that fairness and equality. I would like inclusivity added, only because I think a lot of what we do is try to be a voice to make sure that our underserved populations are included in things and are included at decision making and tables. So I don't know if we want to add it so that it's 4 words or take it or leave it. I'm impartial to it. I just wanted to throw out the suggestion.
I don't have a problem adding that in there. I think that would be, I mean, that's one of our goals, right? So
Yeah.
It would make sense.
Go ahead, Deb.
And I would agree, I would rather see the word equity than equality. So I think instead of fairness and equality, equity and inclusivity would be better. And because equity is a different meaning than equality.
Any other discussions?
Yeah, let me just clarify. So we could list human rights. Are you asking for human rights, fairness, inclusivity, and equity as the edit there?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, what I would suggest is if Mikkel and Deb could send me their revision for that top one paragraph, I can update with the change we just discussed. I could look at the revisions that you guys made on that first paragraph. I can run it by our city folk just to make sure it covers the bases that are necessary, and then I could bring it back to the next one and we can just finalize it then. How does that sound?
Josh, I can send it to you tomorrow morning when I'm back in the office.
Does that work for the group?
Yeah.
That sounds good to me. What do you think, Haida?
Yeah, I think that sounds good. I want to add one more statement piece, not about this. I think this is great. I think the changes will be fine. I just want to throw out the idea of the Human Rights Commission creating a land acknowledgement that we use as we begin each meeting. I think it's something that as we passed Indigenous Peoples Day, we really looked at like what are things that we can implement within our community. And I think that if we started in our capacity, it could be something that maybe potentially grows to other commissions and even city council. I think it's really important that, you know, I don't know that I have to explain to all of you why I think land acknowledgements are really important, but why I think that land acknowledgements that spark action are really important, and just reflecting on the land in which we're on and the fact that that's something that we find important, I think could really go a long ways. So I would just like to, I guess, ask people to consider that. There are some land acknowledgements that other places have utilized that we could do something very similar, so it's not like creating this whole new thing, maybe just kind of working to fine tune it for this capacity. So I just want to leave that there as we're working on statements and things that maybe we can do. I just didn't want to leave without expressing the desire to have that be one of the things that's on our agendas every time.
Sounds good idea. Any other ideas before I move on?
Deb has her hand up.
Deb, you go ahead, yes.
No, I just want to say, we actually talked about that months ago and we never did it. So I'm really glad that Heather brought that up again, because I know that we had talked about it before. So, and we could easily pull in some language and adapt it for our community and then read these statements at the beginning of our meetings.
Thank you.
And I didn't raise my hand, I'm jumping in. Sorry, I don't follow rules very well. So because we obviously had that on our agenda one other time where we discussed it, I always get worried that now we're going to move along and say, oh, we talked about that, and then we're going to forget. So can somebody maybe send us, I mean, Heather, do you know where we could find some land acknowledgements that we can look at so we can keep moving on and get it taken care of?
Well, yes, I know where to find some land acknowledgements.
Well, that would be lovely. I just don't want it to be forgotten. You know, sometimes I feel like we move along through things, but we don't always get a finalized, and I think it's probably because it's Zoom. But I don't feel like we all go, yay, that's good, and then nothing really happens.
Okay.
So, that sound fair?
I'll send a couple examples over to
If you
Josh.
could just, send them to Josh and he can work his magic and we can keep it moving forward.
Any other further discussions? Hearing none, we are going to move our next item, item number 9, reports, announcement, upcoming events. Deb, you go ahead, please.
Connie, I just wanted to thank you for the work that you did for the presentation on Monday, and it was such an honor to be able to recognize the work that people are doing in our community on behalf of human rights. And even though we couldn't meet in person, I think you did a great job of giving us a chance to celebrate the work that they do. So thank you for that. And
Thank
for
you so
to
much.
help prepare the information too. Thanks.
Yep. You want to go ahead? Yeah.
It's so hard to see the light. It's on. Okay, I don't really have any like events. Other than, I guess I just want to remind everybody with the holidays coming up to be really safe in their practices. I know that especially I am one of them that this is a time of year that I really love to gather with a lot of my family and extended friends, and I know that that's really meaningful, but we need to keep in mind that the health of our community really needs to be a priority, and we really decide what the next couple months are going to look like by our actions in just a couple days. And so I just really encourage all of you to lead by example, but then also, you know, to the community and anybody who's listening. I know it's not easy to ask us to stay in very small groups over the holidays. I know that our mental health and our well-being is really important, but I just really want to ask and encourage everybody to make the very best decisions that they can as we enter into the holiday season. I don't want to get caught up in the fact that vaccines are coming out as a Band-Aid to fix everything. We're still looking at a very long road ahead of us, and so we just need to make sure that we really encourage each other to stay safe and stay healthy, because I know that it's really important for this community, the health of our kids, our businesses, and everything else that we want to get back and going. So I just wanted to share that. Also, I want to share that this is my last meeting. I kind of shared it the last time, and I think we all knew that this was happening. But I want to say thank you, Pilame, to Connie for the work that you've done. I know that Willard's not on the commission anymore, but a lot of support and thanks to Willard for being a strong voice for our Indigenous community. Along with everybody else, Mikkel, for your work as the chair prior, and Deb for always being there and sharing our ideas, you know, to City Council, to Shinwar, and Eileen for coming to the table and really making sure that everybody's voices are being heard. I think that this commission is extremely, extremely important, and we need to continue to challenge ourselves to grow and be in the spaces that our voices are heard, not only our voice, but our community's voice. I tell everybody that sometimes the scariest conversations to be had are the most important ones, and I think that the Human Rights Commission really does that, and I think we've grown a lot. We've had a really tough year just in our state and in our society with some of these things really being exposed. But I just really want to encourage all of you to continue your own personal growth in your journey to really be the voice for everybody in this community, because it matters. This work really, really matters. So thank you all for the time that I've been able to serve here. It really helped me personally, professionally, and it gave me the courage to run for bigger things. So I hope to serve you all the very best that I can. I just really appreciate all of you.
Thank you so much, Aida. Any other comments? Deb, you go ahead.
I just want to congratulate Heather, and we'll miss you so much. It's been really great serving with you, and you've contributed so much to this group. Thank you.
Any other comments, please? I really don't have a comment, but I will have a quick message for 2020 was one of the difficult years that we ever faced, and I just have a peace message, and also be kind to each other. This is the most time that we need to each other. Please check your neighbor if they need any help, and also I want to take this opportunity to thank Moorhead Human Rights Commission Board. Our monthly meeting has one goal, and it's to make human rights reality for all. Moorhead Human Rights Commission believes that all citizens of the community have the right to be treated with dignity, respect, fairness, impartiality, and justice without regards to race, color, nationality, origin, gender, age, religious, or disability. Thank you to my board, Moorhead Human Rights Commission, for the all leadership and support you have been provided throughout the challenges and difficulties of 2020. I want to thank each and every one of you for your help, your time, and thank you all. Shingwar, you go ahead, please.
Yeah, sorry. I just want to thank Heather for her time as well. And jokingly, I'll see you in the neighborhood, I'm sure.
We're neighbors.
Yeah, I see. Any other discussions, please?
I still don't know which house she lives in, but I've heard she lives a block away, so maybe I'll run into her one day. But did she leave already?
No, I'm here. I won't put it on public knowledge where I live, but I am sure that we will see. I'm sure that we will see each other.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other discussions? Hearing none, our next item is now item number 10, and any new businesses?
Can we just note that this is like one of the fastest meetings that we've had?
That's what I
If
thought.
we're wrapping up right now?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I think we need you.
To say more?
Yes. Any new businesses, please? Yeah, we're going to recognize this is our fastest meeting that we have, and this is the last meeting we have in 2020. Like, again, I want to thank to everyone. Thank you, Chris, for coming out and answering questions, giving us update like every month. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Elaine. Welcome to this group. This is the most amazing group that I have ever worked with. And I want to thank everyone. Thank you, everyone. And our meeting is closed for the day. Have a good year, everyone.
You too.